Hey guys, today we're going to be cooking a little Texas quesadillas. So you guys can see here I have all my different ingredients. So today we're going to make chicken quesadillas with vegetables, alright? So to start, I have my 2 chicken breasts here. And what I always do with chicken breasts is first I clean them. So I take them over to the sink, turn it on, and give them a good little wash. So now what I'm going to do is put my seasoning on my chicken, and before I do that, I'm going to start heating up my pan. Okay? So turn that on. So you guys be careful with any pans. Make sure you have a parent to help you do this. You just put it on like that. I'm going to put this lid to the side, and if you zoom in here, I have the heat about medium high right now, okay? So you guys can see the heat right there. It's about medium high. Alright? So now my hands are pretty dry. So I'm going to come back over to my chicken. Here I have salt. Alright? I'm going to take a pinch of salt. Put it on there like that. You guys can season as much or as little as you want. This is just what I like with my chicken. So this is what I do. And then here I have pepper. So crushed black pepper. And I'm just going to put it on there. Alright, seasoned chicken. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is, come back over here, is take my oil. So, pour it in here. So I like to use a good amount of oil and mix it around the bottom so that the chicken does not stick. You don't want the chicken to stick to the bottom. Alright, it's going to be cooking for a while. So what I do now, take my 2 chicken breasts and I will put them face down. Okay, so the side that I just seasoned is going to go into the pan, on the pan. Take this other one, and put it in there. Alright, alright, these are big chicken breasts. So I'm going to salt them a lot. All right, make sure they get very seasoned. There you go. And a little bit more pepper. There we go. So now I'm going to put this lid on there, and that contains a lot of the heat so that they'll cook a little bit faster and more well-rounded. And what I'm going to do is set a timer. So something I like to use a lot is timers to make sure that I am cooking for the proper amount of time, especially with chicken, because if you undercook chicken, you're gonna have a bad time, okay? So while that's going, the next thing I'm going to get started on is my vegetables, okay? So if you zoom in here, you see I have a white onion, and I'm going to get started with my onion because this takes the longest to cook. So how I cut this, can you guys see? So I like to cut off the edge. Yeah, that wasn't the best cut. Cut off the edge here, and then cut off the other edge. And then get rid of this outside. So here I'm gonna open it up. I don't like a messy workstation when I'm cooking. Now we're gonna continue chopping the onion, okay? Now here I'm gonna cut it in half. Cut it in half. Alright. Cut them sideways. You don't need small pieces. Just cut them a little bit like that. And they're good to go. So now I'm going to start up this pan. Oh, wrong one. And these will also be on medium to high heat. So I just grab these onions right here and throw them in there. Alright? You can hear them cooking, and that is a good sign. So now I'm going to put a little bit of oil in there with them. Ooh, that's a lot. And then season with a little salt and pepper. Okay? So, what I like to do also is break up the onions. You guys, if you look in here, you can see the onions are all together. So I like to break them up. And I'll show you guys the other ingredients that we have, okay? So for my quesadillas, I like to use onions, chicken, and then I use some mushrooms. So today I'm going to use 4 mushrooms, And like I said earlier, I have a clove of garlic that I'm going to use, okay? And then I have these roasted peppers that add a lot of extra flavor to the cooking. And last but not least, we're going to have our special rice. Or no, not rice, our cheese, okay? Of course. So you can't have a quesadilla without cheese, without queso, okay? So now, while that's cooking, I'll get the rest of the ingredients ready. So here's how I chop onions. So I hold them on the sides, and I like to get the stem in there. Just cut them nice and thick. They don't have to be too small. This is like the perfect mushroom shape, okay? That's what you're going for. Now we have our clove of garlic with these. You take your knife, be very careful. Put your hand like that, squeeze them down. Then you can just peel off this excess skin that's on the outer sides. Alright, now with garlic, I like to cut it in a way that we call mincing, okay? So first, I take it. Can you put the flash on? Or no? No, you can't. Alright, don't worry about it. So I take it and I cut it sideways. These are fairly big pieces, but that's alright. And then we cut it the other way. You want to get them as small as possible so you don't take bites of them while you're eating. You just kind of chop, be careful with your fingers, and chop it up. Okay, so it is about to be up, so that means that we flip the chicken, alright? So, in order to flip the chicken, I have my trusty spatula. So I'm going to take it here, make sure there's oil in the space that I put it down, and then flip it. Grab it, get the oil mixed around, and flip it over. Alright, so now, put it there, that's pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit more oil, just to make sure that they do not stick too much to the pan, okay? Now I'm going to put my lid back on here, and set another timer for 7 minutes. Here we go. And look at our onions here, they're looking good. Okay. So you missed about 2 or 3 minutes. You can see the onions are cooking, the chicken breasts are cooking nicely. So now what we're going to do is throw in all of these mushrooms. This is probably too many. So if you're making this at home, you probably only need 2 mushrooms, alright? So now we got our quesadillas. You can put 2 on each plate, alright? There you go. 1, 2, and now we're making half quesadillas. So in order to do that, you take your quesadillas, put them like little teepees, and you take your rice.
No rice.
Oh, what? I said rice again. Cheese. You take your cheese. I don't know why I'm saying rice. Put it on the bottom here. So you want to get it pretty cheesy. Alright, you guys notice I'm only putting it on half of each quesadilla. There we go. Alright, we'll come back over here. How much time? Alright, we got about a minute left. What we're going to add to our vegetables is the peppers, okay? So what I like to do is just take a good forkful, get the juice in there too. This will add a lot of flavor and a little bit of spice to your quesadillas. So use about half of the container. So I'm going to take my last vegetable here, take the garlic, and just throw that on top of my vegetables, alright? And mix that in. Alright, so our timer just went off. That means the chicken should be done. So what I'm going to do is take this lid off. Woo! It's steaming. And I'm going to cut into our chicken just to make sure that it's not pink, okay? You want to make sure that your chicken is white or it's not done cooking. So if we look in here, you guys can see the chicken is white. I'll turn this off. And grab a new plate for these. And there we go. So be careful. You can see you want to hold the handle before you take anything off because you don't know if it will stick to the pan or not. So you want to hold it and scoop it. Alright, these are looking good. So I'm going to turn these off too. So now all of my grills are off. I'll put these on empty non-hot burners, and we're going to cut the chicken up, okay? So in order to cut the chicken, I like to cut it into little slices, okay? Not too big because this is almost like a sandwich. So you don't want to take too big of bites and then have a lot of chicken stuck in your mouth. So now all of my chicken is cut up. So the next thing I'm going to do is start adding this to our quesadillas. So I'll take it over here. We'll move our cutting tray away a little bit. And add our chicken. Alright, so just add as much or as little chicken as you want. Remember, you can use other things like steak or pork. You can use literally any type of meat or no meat at all if you're a vegetarian. So this is the chef special because I cooked this, I get to try it. And it's good. Now I'm going to get my vegetables. Give them one last stir, make sure they're all mixed up. And get my fork and start forking my vegetables into each one. Alright. The thing I need to do is clean up my pan because this is a little too dirty to use to cook the quesadilla. So now we're going to start with our last step here, guys. So you can see I cleaned out our pan, it's completely clean, and I turned it back on. It should be about medium heat, and I'm going to put some oil in there, okay? So here we are, put some oil. You want to have a decent coating of oil, so again that the quesadillas don't stick to the pan, alright? So here we are. Also another thing, I put a little extra cheese on the top to make sure that these are extra cheesy because that's how I like them. Again, you don't have to if you don't want to, but that's how I like to do it. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is grab these very carefully. This is one of the most difficult parts. Grab it and just place it here gently like that. And then grab the other one. And place it right beside it. Okay. So now I'm going to start another timer. So this time, they'll cook for 1 minute and 30 seconds on each side. We got an extra mushroom here, so I'll eat that. Delicious. And make sure they don't stick to the bottom. Because what we're going to need to do is flip them over to the other side. And if they're stuck, that'll be very difficult. So I'm just trying to keep them from sticking here. Alright, so this will be the most difficult part. So our timer's going off. So you need to flip them. So here, I like to get one finger in there just to help me out a little bit. You just gotta have confidence. Whoa! There we go. Not the best, but not the worst. And then we take the other one here and then flip it. There we go. Try and get all the ingredients back in there. There we go. Start another timer. 125. And we wait. Alright, I think these came out pretty good. You like to see the good coloring here? You can see this one, it's a little brownish yellow. This is a good color for your quesadillas. About 15 seconds. You start checking them out. See how cheesy they're looking? Woo. These are meaty boys. Some meaty quesadillas. We'll start getting them unstuck. There you go. Alright, there goes our timer. So now I have my plate ready. So remember, you hold the pan, put your spatula underneath, and just peel it off. Alright, then to serve it a little better, take it here. And there we go. Now this off, turn it off. We'll leave that there for now. And the final thing we have to do is cut our quesadillas. So the way I like to cut them is to just take them into thirds and cut them into little triangles, okay? And there you have completed quesadilla. Look at that, good color. See your chicken, cheese on the inside. The only thing left to do, take a bite. That's good. That's really good, guys.